Welcome back to the third part of Leading Adaptively Module 5, where we're going to finish up talking about thinking strategically. So we're going to look at both of these together, both the work avoidance and the competing commitments. So a work avoidance might be resistance to updating the mission and the vision of the congregation. And the competing commitment might be that the people in the congregation, the older people, don't want to insult the past leaders who maybe did the original mission and vision work. If there's resistance to new stewardship ideas, the competing commitment might be that we just don't like to talk about money. That's not part of our culture. Perhaps you have a social justice committee with pet projects, and the only way to really be involved with social justice is to be on the committee. And of course, one thing we're learning is that people are more interested in having opportunities to serve on a team where there's actually action going on, and they're not so interested in going to committee meetings, planning such things. But the competing commitment might be that if you're a real member, you serve on a committee. That's just what you do when you belong to a church. There might be resistance to the minister working with the membership committee, and a competing commitment around that might be that the minister's number one priority is pastoral care for older members, so we don't want the minister being distracted with new members. Finally, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about what some uncertainties might be, that things that you just don't know about, but to think about. So in this case, for our case study, we might, church, we understand fewer and fewer people are identifying as religious, identifying as being interested in going to church. Maybe church is just going out of style, and that's the reason for our decline. Another uncertainty is what will happen if we do change. Will we lose existing members? That's always a concern. And finally, I also think it's helpful often to have a metaphor framing the problem. It often can be used by the leaders as shorthand to talk about what the problem is. So I took a stab at a metaphor here, and I'm using, let's make our church garden an organic one, rather than having something that has a lot of structure and manipulation that maybe doesn't work for today's folks so much. So there's an example of a metaphor. I'm sure you could come up with a more creative one. So that's pretty much it. I want you to start thinking about your own case study. If you want to, print out this worksheet and start working on it, that would be great. This will be something you can talk with the other people on your case study team with. Those will be formed in a couple of weeks here. And we'll talk a little bit more about designing interventions in our next module. And I've got a nice interview with one of my colleagues that's going to be part of that I think you'll enjoy. So until next time, I appreciate you and your leadership and your role in growing Unitarian Universalism.